Welcome to Producing Unscripted
with Joke and Biagio.
YouTube enhanced version. Clickable table of contents in description below.
This episode.
Welcome to episode 4. Today we'll give you 5 bulletproof steps to develop shows without going broke. You'll learn the step-by-step process of connecting with us to take your concept from idea to finished video pitch. And we share how we use the same process to get our new MTV special on the air, a documentary called Secrets, Lies, and Sex. Relax, people, our discussion is totally G-rated. Music courtesy Dave Pellman Music.
DavePellman.com.
All right, thanks for joining us for episode 4 of Producing Unscripted. She's Joke.
And he's Biagio.
We make unscripted film and television and want to help you do the same, hopefully by teaming up with us. So, Joke, it was a big week, right? Our documentary aired under the True Life Presents banner.
So excited. It's called Secret, Lies, and Sex. And it follows 2 young African-American men living a life on the down low in Northeast Ohio.
And by the way, Secrets, Lies, and Sex is actually being played, the full episode on MTV right now.
And on iTunes.
And on iTunes. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a link into that so you can check it out. You know, the way that project came together is really interesting because it speaks directly to the topic of this week's episode, which is how do you develop an idea without going broke? Because we've talked lots about making great tape, and we know that you need to invest time, energy, and sometimes money when you get out there and start putting together a tape that could potentially become a TV show. So today we're going to talk about specific ways, as a matter of fact, 5 specific steps that you can do when developing a show with us so that you don't go broke and you make the right decisions along the way. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about Secrets, Lies, and Sex as a specific step-by-step example, real-world example of how that show came together.
And it's not only just about going broke, it's really about spending too much time and energy on ideas that just may not have a shot right now because of the marketplace. So let us help you decide, which projects are worth your time and energy right now.
Look, I'm not made of money.
If you've been listening to the podcast and following along with the steps, you've sent over a submission agreement. You know how to make yourself valuable. So now, how do you then develop a show without going broke? As we hinted about in the opening, spending thousands is the wrong approach.
Well, it's a numbers game. And so you're going to have to develop lots of these. And so it's important to manage your resources because the truth of the matter is, it's going to probably take a few ideas before you can get one going. And by the way, if you're thinking, aha, but I bet they haven't heard my idea because it isn't on television. It's nowhere to be found on television. I have the best idea. Then I just have to ask the question, maybe you're right. Maybe you do have that 1 in a million, or maybe there's a reason that idea is not on television. And then if you pitch it to us, we can tell you what those reasons are so that you don't spend any more time and energy and money into that project.
And of course, it starts with step 1. You're going to send in your submission agreement. Don't send us any ideas until we get your submission agreement. If you want to know why, listen to episode 2, producingunscripted.com/002. After we get your submission agreement, you will hear back, and that leads into step 2.
Send over the best materials you have for a specific project. So ideally, you send over a little bit of footage, or at the very least, pictures and some bios, just what it is that you're working with. If this character happened to, be interviewed on a local news segment and you can just send us a link to that, that's fine too, just so that we have a little bit of a taste.
So at this point, we're going to decide, A, is this a sellable show at this time? Is this a world we want to play in? Is this a show we want to make? And B, we're also going to take a look to see if the show is a conflict. Because like we said, we get pitched a lot of ideas. And it's not fair to you if you're pitching us a rodeo show and we're already working on a rodeo show to say, okay, we'll do yours too. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to the other project. So if there's a conflict, we'll just be honest with you and we'll say, sorry, this show is a conflict with something else we're doing at this time, but best of luck. However, if we think that your world or your characters or your show does have potential, then we're going to move on to step 3. We're going to have a discussion with you about exactly the materials we would need to decide if this truly is a sellable show. We're not talking about making a pitch tape yet, right, Joke?
No. The key here is that we'll look at some stuff that you just sent us from step 2, and we'll go, okay, we see something. We see a nugget. We feel like there might be a potential show here. And then we'll just ask you a bunch of questions and say, it might be a show if this is the case. Hey, I don't understand this world well enough. What is the actual process of what these people do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The goal with this is for us to give you as many kind of questions or things for you to investigate and explore for your step 3. So that when you go back out and maybe shoot more footage or research, you know exactly the kind of things to ask about.
Mainly, we're telling you what we would need to see in order to move forward. But again, notice you're not spending a lot of time, resources, and money, because even at this point, you could go out with a flip cam or a cell phone cam, capture a little bit of footage that we need to see.
And at least the energy and the money you are spending will be more targeted to get you a more positive outcome. Because again, we'll know like, okay, if it's for this kind of network, we know they're looking for these angles right now. If it's for this kind of network, we know you have to watch out for these things. So our goal is to help you, be more efficient with your time and resources.
So let's say that you do go out, you collect the materials we asked for, and we're like, wow, there is a show here. Well, then we're going to move on to step 4, and that's a collaboration agreement. That's where we're going to officially team up with you. And listen, every project is different. I wish I could tell you, hey, there's one simple deal we do with everybody. There's not. If you're a co-executive producer working in reality television right now, and you're bringing us a show, we're going to be doing a very different collaboration agreement than if you've never shot or edited anything in your life and you've discovered some characters and you're looking to break in the business. So, this collaboration agreement, it's going to be something that we're going to have to work out together, and we'll always be very honest about what we're willing to do. And, hopefully we can all come to an agreement. If we can, and we officially team up, then we move on to step 5, which is actually making the pitch tape. Now, at this point, depending on the show, our schedule, and your abilities, we may trust the first pass of the tape to you. We may say, all right, go for it. Go shoot it. Go edit it. Just go do it. This is your investment in this show. This is what you're doing. Go make it. Or we might come in and help you. Me and Joke might fly in for a couple days. We may bring a camera guy with us. We may bring a sound guy. It just depends on the show, the project, and what we think the chances of it selling are, and how urgent we feel it is to get the tape done quickly. But at this point, step 5, now you're finally making a pitch tape. Now notice, if you follow these steps, if you follow the steps that we just laid out, which is send your submission agreement, then send over some simple materials, then send some specific materials we asked for, then do a collaboration agreement, you've gone through all these weed out steps to figure out if your idea is actually a sellable idea before you ever get to making the pitch tape. So that's why we want you to go through this process with us, because we can help you save a ton of money if making a pitch tape is a bad idea. There you go.
That's it. Pretty simple, straightforward. Starting out, we made a lot of mistakes, working in the bubble, because you don't necessarily have the access as to what's working or what's not working. And so we're kind of want to give you a little peek into the world so that you're not developing in a bubble, so that you can really spend your time and energy on shows that that may have a chance. Because we've learned the hard way that, you think this is a great idea, and then it's finally ready, you spend all your time, you go out and pitch it, and it's like, oh no, that show just sold 3 days ago, or hey, we're done with that kind of show, and those kinds of things. And that can be very heartbreaking.
Well, that sounds good in theory.
I want to talk a little bit about our show Secrets, Lies, and Sex, because this actually went through a similar process, right, Joke?
So we heard about this world of living on the down low, and we're fascinated by it. And so we talked to some of the characters that we felt would be great entryways into this story and into this world, and asked them to put some stuff on Skype. Again, these are young guys. They're technology savvy. So they, shot some video on their iPhones or flip cams or whatever it was. I think some of it was like, the webcam on their computers. It wasn't great quality. The audio wasn't fantastic. But here's the thing. It gave us a real sense of their stories and about their openness, because again, this is a subject matter that is pretty deep, and we wanted to make sure people felt comfortable talking about them on camera. So once we got in those little tapes, Biagio cut together maybe like a minute tape, just kind of compiled, maybe a minute, 90 seconds worth of some of the best kind of clips and really kind of explaining this world. And then we took that footage to MTV. We felt like they were the right age for MTV. MTV does these kinds of stories. We had a relationship with them because of our docuseries Caged. We showed it to them. We had lots of conversations, and they said, okay, we think there might be something there, but we need more footage. And so Biagio and I thought it was a worthy investment because MTV showed interest and also because we were really passionate about the story. And so we flew to Ohio, and the two of us shot with about 9 possible cast members for, I don't know, a day and a half, 2 days. I think we spent about 2 or 3 days with them and shot about a day and a half or something. It gave you a sense of, who they were to each other and then also what their personal stories were. And so, talk about showbiz is slow biz. I think we delivered that to them in June, and then the summer happened and people would go on vacation, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, the head of the department saw it and really, really liked it. And usually the next step in terms of going to series would be a non-airable pilot. I felt, and so did Biagio, that the story was so great that to just shoot it as a non-airable pilot, and the reason they make it non-airable pilot is because it's, it costs them less money, would be a little bit of a waste because it's such a great story, and either way, you would see the reveals and the coming outs in that episode, and then it would all kind of be for naught. And the guys had expressed that they really wanted to share their story because they wanted it to help other people going through the same thing, and mentioned specifically, had they seen something like this growing up, it would have helped them tremendously. So based on what our guys had said, and then, talking to the network, together we kind of all decided that it might be better to try this as a special, as a True Life Presents special, since that's the banner that they do their specials, their one-offs under, so that for sure it would go to air, for sure the guys would get to tell their story, and then depending on the success of the special, maybe there would be a spin-off, maybe there would be a series, or maybe, the story would run its course and that's that. And so we did that. So this happened, I think we got that word last November, and then there was some deal making with the guys, and then we went and shot it in January and February and March and April, I think. And then it just aired last weekend. So now we kind of have to see how it's going to do, how well it repeats, and where the word of mouth goes from here. But either way, the guys are super excited. They're very proud of it. They're very happy with the final product. And the network is super proud of it. Feels like, it delivers on the promise of a True Life series. And so, yeah, it was kind of a beautiful experiment in developing with the network, which brings us back to, we're here to help you develop.
Next episode, we're going to tell you the secret words every unscripted TV professional uses to present their pitches to Hollywood. We're going to be giving you the 5 magic words of pitching reality TV and documentary series, and we're going to teach you how to use them. Now, if you come in using these 5 magic words, you will have our undivided attention. So don't miss our next episode. Be sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you subscribe to podcasts. And if you do like what we're doing here, please give us a rating or a comment at iTunes. That would really help us out a lot. And, thanks for spending a little time with us today. It means a lot to us that you came out and listened.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Producing Unscripted with Joke and Biagio.